Welcome back. So today we are going to be talking about one of the new additions to the game, the 129th Infantry Regiment of the 37th Infantry Division. I haven't actually picked them up, but I think they're pretty neat, so I want to go over them anyway. So, bear with me, there will be less gameplay than there normally is with these. So, per their description, the regiment is originally a unit of the Illinois National Guard. It was redesignated as the 129th Infantry Regiment, 13th of December 1921, and assigned to the 33rd Division. It was detached from the 33rd Infantry in 31st of July 1943, and assigned to the 37th during the Bougainville Campaign. The regiment participated in many battles during the Philippines Campaign. On a side note, I'm curious if that is foreshadowing to the new front line that they talked about. Like I mentioned the other day, I feel like the next front line they come out with needs to include Japan. So they could do the Philippines. Um, like I said before, I'd still prefer Manchuria, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did something that was like a combination of the Philippines, Okinawa, and Iwo Jima, or something like that, just to get some map variety. But I digress. So, what is this squad? Who are they? Why are they important? Well, this is the brand new American Premium Squad. The Soviets and the Germans got the rocket artillery boys at the start of the patch. Halfway through this patch, the Americans get this engineer squad, and the Japanese get their paratroopers. Now, what makes these guys cool? Well, the first thing that makes them interesting is that they are not a normal four-man premium engineer squad. They are actually a five-man squad. And, we can try them out and run around a little bit just to show that off. But traditionally, when you would get a premium squad in this game, there's various templates that exist. So, like, assaulters these days are like five dudes. One of them's an engineer, four of them are assaulters. Engineers traditionally were just a four-man squad where there were four engineers, and that was it. Well, these guys, they are a five-man squad, and they have a radio operator. And I kind of like that they're going to this new system. I've seen it suggested that they include a universal specialist in every premium squad. I kind of like that idea more, but I like that this is at least a five-man squad, and it now at least has some value to me, some staying power. So your normal engineer squad is going to be a six-man squad. It's going to include the ability to put on specialists. Let me actually pull up an engineer squad and we can compare it. So, this one's level 25. Let's do that one. All right. So your normal engineer squad, I have this one just with six engineers in it, but sometimes I swap them out. You're going to have some options here. It's not a whole lot of options, though. Normally, I'll throw in the two AT guys. If I throw in anything, normally I wouldn't put in the comms guy. On occasion, I could put in the assaulter, but eh. Regardless, the point that I'm making here is if you look at these fellas, they're only short one guy, and they're only short one specialist. But they're premium squad, which is a really fair trade-off, especially if you're a newer player, because you're going to be able to come into this and you're going to have access to premium engineers that can pretty much build everything. And that alone is going to be a huge benefit. So compared to the past where I don't even know if there's any still listed here. The Japanese ones might still be here. Yeah, okay, so these Type Co boys. This is a four-man engineer squad unless they've retroactively updated it. I haven't looked, but I assume that they haven't. They usually don't right away. But They're pretty cool. They have a good looking uniform. They have a pretty decent rifle. But the thing is, there's only 4 of them. And 4 dudes doesn't really give you a whole lot of staying power. And I understand that going up to 5 guys from 4 isn't really that big of a leap, but it's not bad. It definitely gives you more staying power, and I appreciate that they at least have another specialist in there. So even though you're only calling in artillery and whatnot, it's still better than nothing. Now, I also want to look at their rifle. So they have the Winchester G30R, which fires 30-06. It's got a detachable box magazine. It's got a bayonet, no bipod, but that is perfectly fine. And I believe it's a 10-round magazine. Yeah, 10-round magazine. So your closest comparison to this is probably going to be the M1 Garand, but the M1 Garand I believe is BR3, so you might compare it against the Johnson, which is BR4. And statistically, we should be pretty similar. Usually they keep hit power pretty consistent, so you're going to be 15.3 at 10, 12.5 at 100, the fire rate of 380, reload time of 2.2, 8420 for your recoil. So if we go and find, mind you, this is going to be a stock Johnson, your reload time is going to be 3.4, so a lot slower. Even if you take like 10 or 20% off of that for like fully upgrading it, it's still going to be quite a bit slower. 106.26, so you're going to actually be relatively close with recoil. Admittedly, I find with most of the semi-autos and with most of the bolt actions, the vertical recoil looks really high, but in practice, it doesn't actually feel as bad as it appears. It's less noticeable than when you're using like a submachine gun. Um, but you're going to get similar damage. Firing, I believe, the same round. But you're getting the 10-round magazine here. The issue is you're loading by stripper clips. You're going to load 2 stripper clips into the side, and you're going to take about a whole second longer to do it. It's got decent sights, though. Likewise, you can look at the M1 Garand. So here you're getting an 8-round magazine, reloading 2.9. Imagine it probably goes down to like 2.6. So still slower, less rounds, 1 of 533. So similar, but, slightly different recoil. Generally speaking, it looks like the Winchester G30 is going to be a very competitive rifle. It is going to be at BR4, though. So assuming that the matchmaker is working the way that we want it to be, and you get a down tier, you're going to be sitting pretty going up against the BR3 weapons that you'll see the Axis bring. You're going to run into Type PAs, and you're going to run into Gewehr 43s and Gewehr 41s. The issue that I think you're going to run into is in an up tier. Like this, as a semi-auto rifle, this is a good gun. But when you compare it to the T20, nothing holds a candle to that. I mean, there are other automatic rifles that do, like the Type HE automatic, or the FG42-2. They're going to be decent against it. But comparing it strictly against other semi-auto rifles, it probably compares favorably to the ZH. I honestly forgot about the ZH. I haven't used it in so long. But you're going to get a 10-round magazine here. Your muzzle velocity is going to be a little bit lower. The damage is probably going to be similar. Recoil should be similar. The reload is actually, I think, faster on the ZH. The problem with the ZH is that the sights kind of suck, in my opinion. You might have a different opinion on that, though. Now, obviously, I have not picked up this squad. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, as you can see, I have like the whole American tech tree. Realistically, I just don't need to get every single premium. I do think that they're cool, though, and that's why I wanted to make this video. When Darkflow does something good, and they change something for the betterment of the community, like adding specialists onto premium squads, then I think that, it should be acknowledged, because sometimes Darkflow does really stupid shit, and I call them out all the time when I think they do stupid shit. But I think I also need to praise them when they do something good, and I think that this was actually something good. Now, does this really affect where they stand in the hierarchy of premium squad types? Ultimately, probably not. Like, this does give them more value. But at this point, I think they go from being shit tier to being on par with, like, an assault squad, which is good. Like, assault squads are worth picking up, with the caveat that you're going to outgrow them eventually. And I think that's true with this squad here as well. Although having the radio operator probably does give them a little bit more longevity. The thing is, you could instead have something like the Firefly, right? Yes, it's more expensive, but like you could have a Firefly, and the Firefly can kill tigers. So, and the Firefly is unique in that there's nothing in the tech tree that works the same way that the Firefly does. Same with the Calliope. Like the Calliope is completely unique. Or if you're looking strictly at infantry squads, the American paratroopers, or the radio squad, or the half track squad. All three of those are going to bring more versatility to the table, where you'll keep being able to use them even after you get past your like grinding phase. The other thing is, if you're a new player, if they were like BR2 and this was a squad, I think they would be way more worthwhile to look at. But jumping straight into BR4, if this is going to be your only squad, is questionable. Um, you can do it. Like, honest to God, I don't think using bolt action rifles at BR5 is nearly as bad as people make it out to be, but you're definitely placing yourself at a disadvantage. And make no mistake, playing BR4, you're probably going to play into BR5 fairly frequently. Like I would definitely say at least half your games are going to be BR5. I could be wrong on that. It's just from my experience, that's how I feel like it'll go. So I don't know if they are necessarily the right squad to pick up as a new player, especially if you're going to get them for full price. I think if you get them half off, I think they probably have pretty good value. Um, which come a sale, I might think about getting them for full price. I just don't think that they add anything that my army can't do with tech tree engineers or with some of the premium squads that I already have. And actually, the squad can do rocket artillery, so that's kind of cool. That's a good thing to know. I'm glad I looked at that. So that does also give them a little bit extra value, although I think the rocket artillery is kind of a gimmick. Um, so would I recommend them? I don't think that they're a pickup that you'd really regret. That being said, I think that the paratroopers and the half tracks bring a lot more versatility, and they bring a lot more longevity. Like, at the end of the day, paratroopers are always going to jump out of the sky and show up anywhere and be able to pull various weapons out of their box, and that gives them a lot of potential power. With the half tracks, if you're new, it's a squad that you're going to be able to outfit with whatever equipment you have available. So it's a squad that's going to grow with you. And because it's going to grow with you, and because it's a mobile spawn point, it's the kind of squad that's never going to really lose its value. So I still would recommend both of those first. But if you wanted something a little bit different, or you really wanted access to engineers, or if you were picking up like a premium lineup, like if you were going to pick up, say, these guys, the half track, and I don't know, like Calliope or something, right? Like if you were gonna do that, sure, more power to you. You'd probably enjoy it. Plus, you'd have dedicated engineers. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. Um, I'm sure that most people are probably gonna look at this squad and be kind of like, meh. That normally would be my initial take on it. I just appreciate that Darkflow is taking steps in the right direction to add more value into the premium squads. Um, as far as like Gaijin content goes, I actually don't think that they're priced horribly. Um, I mean, $29.99 is still a lot for a premium squad, but they're also a BR4 premium squad, so I don't know. Like like I said, in a sale where they're like $15, I absolutely think that they'd be worth picking up. Um, but yeah, it's your money. You decide what to do with it. You're all big boys and girls out there. So as per usual, get out there, kick ass, take names, and win your games.